Oh, g'day, it's Andrew here. I'm excited about this video because I'm going to talk about my Digital Workplace Hub SharePoint version. So I've got a LinkedIn newsletter which comes out every week. It's a list of articles and resources to do with the digital workplace. And now I've put them all into this SharePoint site, which I'm going to take you through now. So what I'll do in this video, I'm going to take you through the site. I'm going to explain you also the methodology I went through. So I've actually developed a framework for putting a site like this together, and the site itself is an example of that framework. So I'm going to show you some things like personalization, context, how it's task-based, and these are some concepts you might be able to use in your own organization. So as you're looking at this video, in the back of your mind, think maybe we could use something like this at our place. So let's get started. On this is the home page. It just highlights latest news stories, some featured pages. You know, I've got a federated search here, or a filtered search, using the modern PnP search web parts. So we can click on topic, for example, click on collaboration, click apply, and it's just showing me all the pages related to collaboration. So pretty straightforward search. So that's what's on this home page, just featured pages, I guess you would say. Now, if we go into the detail, if we click on articles here, this takes me to all the articles, but again, at the top, I've got a filter. So if I just want to see articles related to culture, or design thinking, click apply. That will filter my articles there. I guess we're all pretty familiar with how filters work. So similarly, I could search by a favorite author. I've got a display here, so I've featured or recommended certain articles. You can use that as well. So the author one's handy. If I wanted to see all of the articles, written by Chris McGrath, I can do that as well. And you can use, multiple filters at the same time. Right, so that's the articles. Now I can do the same thing with events. Let me click on events. So it's the same thing. Actually, I don't have too many events in there at the moment, but you've got the filtering options up the top. You've got a few extra ones there. So if I'm looking for an event in a particular country, I can use the filter there. Got a couple of conferences coming up. One on next week in Melbourne, and then James Robinson's in Sydney. Right, so I've got articles, I've got events, I've got people. Exactly the same sort of thing. I can filter by those options up the top here. I haven't explained the how to. Let's click on that one. Click on how to. It's kind of like a service. So if I want to find who is good at creating intranet pages, I can choose that option, click apply, and it comes up with Hoa, who actually ran a course on how to design good SharePoint pages. So that's how the people one works. And then we've got organizations as well. So let's click on that. Then we've got 85 there. These are all organizations that provide different services or software to do with the digital workplace. And we can filter up here by organization type. So if I click on the drop down there, if I'm after a consulting organization, I can apply that filter. And there we go, I've got 4 organizations there. And then I can further narrow down the search if I want. So you get the gist of it. So we've got articles, events, people, organizations. Now, if I click on one of these organizations, let's click on to lead. So I've got a bit of information about the company. I've got what services they offer, their expertise, the articles that they've published, and we've got a little mini filter over here. So we can filter their articles. So if a company has a lot of articles, that's kind of handy. Any websites that they might have. So they've got a newsletter, the team members, and then everything's related. So I'm calling this a contextual digital workplace, and I'm going to explain that throughout this video, what it means. So context is all the metadata. So it's providing additional information that connects all the different pages to each other. So you'll notice every page is connected to every other related page. So for example, I can go to Kanwal Kippel, who works at 22 to Lead, or he's the CEO actually. Let's click on his name. So I can see his articles, I can see where he works, the services, his expertise, country he's in. Now if I click on one of these services, let's click on keep up to date with the latest news. This takes me to what I'm calling a how-to page, or a task page, I guess you could call it. So this page, it's got a bit of information about how you keep up to date with the latest news. What experts you need to follow, what organisations, a bit of information down here. And you'll see in the list of experts, Kanwal is there as well. So I click on his name, that'll take me back to his page. So you can kind of see how everything is connected to each other. So we've got, the way I look at it, we've got articles, events, people, organisations. We've got some other resources in here as well, which is books and YouTube channels and websites. I've got them there. The way I see it, they're all the building blocks. And then the way they're all structured and joined together is the design. So for example, let's go to a how-to page. So we've got how-to, and let's go to build a top-level intranet menu. Let's go there. So you'll see here, this is a task page or a how-to page, and it comprises a number of these different components. So articles, events, people, organizations work together to support this task. So again, I'm calling this a contextual digital workplace because it's task-based. There's these 5 pillars, which I'll go into detail later on. This is one of the pillars is that it's task-based. So there's a bit of information here about how to build a top-level intranet menu. We scroll down a bit to the bottom and you can see there's articles related to it. Let's click on people. You can see there's a couple of people that can help you how to do it. Let's click on organizations. So you'll see there, Optimal provides some great tools for helping with that. So you can see how it's related. So this page, this how-to page, it's not a foundational page like an article is. So you wouldn't call this an article. It's really a way of grouping all the items together in a meaningful way, providing context. So that's why I'm calling this a contextual digital workplace. Bit of a mouthful, but I've got to brand myself, or brand the methodology, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we've got articles, we've got events, we've got people, we've looked at those. Now let's go in a bit more detail about designing or putting these pieces together. So we've looked at how to, but we've also got topics. So let's go into topic, and I'm going to click on knowledge management. So a topic, similar to how-tos, also similar to teams, but not quite the same. So a topic is more broader. So we've got knowledge management. What's on this page? So I've got some recommended resources. These could be experts, could be an article, could be a company. Just for whatever reason, I've decided to recommend those particular pages. Scroll down a bit. We've got the filter again, but it's a bit different in that everything here is related to knowledge management. So these articles are all about knowledge management. If I click on the people link, these are all people that are experts in knowledge management. If we click on reference pages, we've got Susan Hanley's very handy SharePoint white papers. Scroll down a bit. These are how-tos related to knowledge management. We've got our events. So again, hopefully you're getting a bit of an understanding of what's on this site. So we've got our kind of core products, articles, events, people, organization, and then we've got how we put them together. So we've looked at how-to, we've looked at topics. Let's have one look at teams. What this does for the end user, it depends what they're, how they want to find this information. So if I'm a, let's see, intranet manager, for example, of course, everything on this page is related to the intranet manager. It's the same sort of approach. I've got some recommended articles up the top here. We've got articles, organizations, we've got YouTube channels, we've got, well, we don't have any there. We've got some websites, but all of this is related or relevant to an intranet manager. So we've got 3 ways of navigating, either by topic, by how to, or by team. So hopefully getting the gist. Now another pillar of a contextual digital workplace is this idea of personalization. So just let me show you a highly personalized page. Right, so this page, everything on this page is specific to me. I've selected it. So if we scroll down, I've got how-tos that I'm interested in. I've got some roles that I'm interested in, topics that I'm interested in. And the way I've set this up is really simple. So the idea would be every person in your organization could have their own page and they can select their own information that they want to keep up to date with. So the way they do that, very simple. There's no training required. In fact, most people know how to edit SharePoint pages these days. So let's click on Edit. Then we click on Page Details up the top here. So Page Details brings up this panel on the right-hand side, which shows you all the metadata. So the way you decide what you want to appear on your page is through the metadata. So you'll see my topics there. So if I get rid of those two, go to the term store, I pick the topics I'm interested in. Let's say leadership, public speaking, collaboration. Let's add those. See my 4 topics there. The authors I'm interested in following. Let's go in there, pick a few more authors. See those authors there. Organizations I want to follow. Technology I'm interested in. The how-tos I want to keep up to date with. Let's go in there. Add those how-tos. You get the gist of it. So that's all I do. Edit the page, update my metadata, then republish. Now what you'll notice is my how-tos have changed. The roles, I didn't change the roles. The topics I'm interested in has changed. The authors I'm following has changed. Organizations I'm interested in. So everything on this page is relevant to me. So as long as the pages are tagged correctly, they'll automatically appear on this page. So if you've got someone adding content to your knowledge repository and they're tagging it correctly, if I'm a busy employee, I just need to come in, look at my page, everything I can see is on this page. So that kills 2 birds with 1 stone. It kills FOMO, so you don't have to worry I'm going to miss out on an article published by Chris McGrath because it'll automatically appear here. So it avoids FOMO, also avoids being overwhelmed with information. So you're not getting information you don't want, you're only getting the information you need. So really simple too from an end user's point of view to maintain. And it's just really leveraging off that metadata and the taxonomy that's been set up, all the hard work that's gone in behind the scenes to set this up, and it's taken me probably 6 months to build this site. So that's one of the benefits of it. All right, so we've gone through the events, the articles, we've had a look at how we organize it. Let's have a look at the framework. So under this how-to, this is the Contextual Digital Workplace framework. So if you wanted to build a site like this yourself for your own organization, and there's no documents really on this site, it's all just pages. These are the steps you would go through. So I've got them there. You'd need to get the funding, work out your strategy, you've got to put a plan together. Well, you can see all the tasks that are there. So they're all documented as well on this site, and they're all supported by articles and experts. So again, to go back to that example, building the top level intranet menu, let's go there. So as you can see, I've got a bit of information here about how to do it. But then if you go down the bottom, you've got articles here, and if I add any future articles, as long as I tag it with this how-to, it's automatically going to appear here. Same with people. If I tag someone as being able to provide skills in this area, they'll automatically appear here. Right, so that's the framework. So at the beginning, I think I mentioned there's 3 purposes really of this site. 1, it's a repository of all those digital workplace related resources, so articles, events, people, etc. 2, it's got the framework, so it's got the steps you need, all the tools you need, the expertise you need to set something like this up yourself. And 3, the site itself is an example. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, how do I provide a personalized page? Well, you can go to that personalized page that I showed you here, and you can actually have a look at it and see how it works. In fact, you could probably set up your own page here. Alright, just to finish off, I've spoken about these 5 pillars of Contextual Digital Workplace and why I've called this a Contextual Digital Workplace. So I'm just going to recap what they are. 1, it's meta-driven. So all the metadata set up, everything relates to each other, as you could see. Number 2, the Contextual Digital Workplace is linked back to business drivers. So these topics, they're not random, they're actually strongly correlated to business success. So every business, you've got to go through coming up with ideas or improvements. How do you go about developing those ideas? How do you then implement them, get people to use it? How do they then go into operations? Supporting all of that, you've got these down the bottom. So you've got leadership, someone providing the vision. Are your employees motivated? Personal development, do people enjoy coming into work? And then you've got the technology to support it. So these are the business drivers behind having this contextual digital workplace. Pillar 3, didn't really talk about too much, but it's active engagement. So all of these pages, because they're pages and not documents, they're designed to be updated easily. So if I figure out a better way of doing a process or a particular task, like the navigation menu, I can easily update that page. Goes through an approval process and the right people are aware of that change. So it's ongoing continuous improvement by the whole organization. So it's not something that's done once every 2 years and everyone just forgets about it. Pillar 4 is personalization. We had a look at that, and pillar 5 being a task-based structure. So they're the 5 pillars of a contextual digital workplace. Alright, so that's it. It's a bit of a long video. It actually went a bit longer than I expected. Maybe I'll try and edit it down. But that's just a recap. So I just wanted to talk about the Digital Workplace Hub SharePoint version. So I'm going to make this available to a small group of people who are interested, just to get a bit of feedback and help me improve it. I still need to develop this framework. I've got probably half of these done, but still need to develop a few more and add a few more resources to the site. Anyhow, I hope you found this helpful, and if you've watched the whole video, thanks a lot, congratulations, you've done me a favour, and speak to you next time. Bye.